Welcome, friends. Today, we'll be sampling Rich Mitch's favorite fragrances of all time. Outrageous. Some would even say scandalous. That's right, my friends. Today I'm coming back to you with another fragrance video. Rich Mitch is one of the best fragrance channels on YouTube. If you don't know who I'm talking about, stop right here. Go subscribe to Rich Mitch. His link will be first link in the description. Just an all-around class individual, if I don't say so myself. In this video, Rich Mitch was gracious enough to send me 29 of his favorite fragrances of all time in the format of these wonderful samples, which he hand decanted from his own collection. So this took a lot of work. I really, truly appreciate it. There are heavy hitters in this video, friends. And the whole point of this video is Rich Mitch, first of all, wanted me to smell all of these. And second of all, he wanted to show me and show all of you just how good designer perfumes used to be. In Rich Mitch's opinion, and I'm sure in the opinion of many, you walk into a Macy's nowadays and it's just a bunch of shit. So with all that being said, if you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and be sure to go subscribe to Rich Mitch's channel in the description. He's just a great dude. Probably one of the most solid people in the fragrance community. Okay, starting this video off, we are going to smell the fragrance Rich Mitch said he wanted me to smell the most. And this is Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. Okay, this is a vintage decant from his collection. He said he wanted me to smell this the most because I love Tom Ford Beau de Jour. It's one of my favorite fougere fragrances of all time. It's one of my favorite fragrances of all time. I just wore it yesterday. And he said I'll love this. So let's see if that's true. I'm going to do just 2 sprays here on this test strip. Let's see if this designer from, God knows when. I think this is still made, but it's reformulated. Let's see if it can compete. So, okay, right off the bat, I just have to tell you, they just don't make stuff like this anymore. They really just don't. This is a scent profile that wouldn't necessarily do too well nowadays. You know, the brands want to sell a bazillion bottles of the sweetest, longest lasting stuff they can pack into. Oh yeah, this is very classic fougere, a lot of lavender, a lot of like herbal elements as well. Citruses, bright, lovely citruses with this sort of herbal, I don't know if there's rosemary or sage or thyme or whatever herb it is. Very green textured herbs, almost like you take the herb itself and like you squeeze it and get like the oils, like the raw oils on your hands. It's kind of like an oily herbaceousness. Oak moss, maybe a little bit of patchouli, I'm not sure. Yeah, overall, just absolutely beautiful. The fact that this is a designer, the fact that this is a Paco Rabanne, which I think is, they make 1 million nowadays. The quality here for a fragrance that I bet any day of the week you can just go buy for 50 bucks, 30 bucks, whatever it may be, is staggering. This is the vintage version. I'm not sure how the modern version is. I'm sure it's been reformulated, but there's no amber woods, there's no annoying synthetics, there's no ambroxan, there's no weird fixatives. It's very clean, it's very legible, and yeah, it's very beautiful. It's a classic masculine scent profile. I'm gonna give this off the bat like an 8.5. Really, really impressed. This is fantastic. In terms of whether or not this is similar to Beau de Jour, I can see where he's coming from, but I think Beau de Jour is, it's more dense than this. More dense, it has a little bit more body, and I feel like it's a little bit even more herbaceous with a way bigger patchouli. This is great, though. Moving on to the next one. All right, the next fragrance is one of Rich Mitch's favorite fragrances of all time. He has gone through, I think, 2 bottles in the time that I have started watching his channel. Maybe 3 bottles for all I know. This is Pavarotti Pour Homme. Pavarotti. So I think referring to the famous opera singer Luciano Pavarotti, you know, Nessun Dorma and all that. So let's see what Pavarotti's all about. This is, of course, discontinued. Many of these samples he gave me are, of course, discontinued, vintage, hard to find, very expensive. So I really can't thank him enough. Like, this is... He didn't charge me for these samples. Like, he's just very generous. Very awesome guy. Okay, Pavarotti Porom. Oof, whoa. Way different. I don't know what I was expecting, but I wasn't expecting this at all. This is extremely... very complicated to break down initially. Okay, so there's like this fruity aspect. I don't know what it is. It could be like an orange. It could be like maybe like black currants or like an apple sort of thing. But there's a leatheriness, there's a fruitiness, and I think I pick up on quite a bit of patchouli in this. Yeah, I think there's patchouli. It's just giving it that, like, base, you know? When you smell patchouli in a fragrance, it can come across as dank, musky, earthy, green even. And I'm picking up, like, a green, earthy patchouli with some leather and, like, a fruitiness. This is very complex. You really won't smell designers like this much anymore. Maybe there's a couple things from designers like this, but, you know, this sort of scent profile, first of all, this is completely different than anything that's sold on the market nowadays. I've never smelled anything like this. Never anything like this. Yeah, it's such a weird combination of notes, but somehow it isn't terrible. It's actually working. Maybe there's lavender. It's giving like this herbal edge to it. Yeah, very strange fragrance. I'm going to have to put this on skin just to see what it does. I have a feeling this would be completely different on skin. It's just giving me that feel on strip. Like it isn't completely filled out, the body of it. But yeah, Pavarotti, I'm going to give this like a 7.5. Really interesting. Very complex. All right, moving on to another one of Rich Mitch's absolute favorites of all time. This is none other than Smalto Porom. He talks about this ad nauseum, waxes lyrical, you know. So I'm expecting big things, Rich Mitch, to be honest with you. Smalto Porom. I only know about this from his channel. I've never ever seen anyone else talk about this fragrance. So, see what Smalto Porom is all about. I might be called Malto Smalto from Francesco Smalto, which is kind of a hilarious combination of things there. Oh, ooh, Mitch, you got good taste. Rich Mitch smells fucking immaculate in real life. I already know that. All right, just from the samples I've tried so far, this man smells immaculate. Okay, right off the bat, this reminds me a little bit of Drakkar Noir and also Rogue Perfumery Bon Monsieur. It has this sharp, green, fresh, masculine, sort of lavender geranium sort of thing going on. But there's something else in here. It's kind of like leathery. Like maybe there's something dark. Yeah, it's like smoky. It's like a smoky sort of thing. I seem to recall him maybe referring to this as a smoke moss, like smoky oak moss. Maybe that's what I'm picking up. It's like if took Drakkar Noir or Rogue Perfumery Bon Monsieur and you just made the base sort of smoked out with this green smoky oak moss, but you left everything else alone. And it's still really, really fresh, right? It just has more of a contrast between the top and the base. There's also citruses in here that they're just sort of, they're not really immediately identifiable as citruses. They're sort of just there to brighten things, if that makes sense. I really like this. I think this is fantastic. I'm gonna give this an 8.5. I think this is unique. I think this is once again timeless, very masculine. and you will not smell anything like this from a department store nowadays. All right, next up is a rare one. I know this one is expensive. This is vintage discontinued Gucci Nobile. This is, I saw a bottle of this on eBay just scrolling around for, I want to say, $400. Okay. So thank you again for the samples, Rich Mitch, because my God, if people are paying $400 for this, this better be good. Better be good. Let's see. Gucci Nobile. They don't do it like this anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, they just don't. All of these fragrances I've smelled, by the way, kick the shit, I'd say, out of probably about 80% of niche. Maybe 90% of niche. I'm not even exaggerating. This reminds me of something like Chanel Platinum Egoiste, but this is what Chanel Platinum Egoiste wishes it was. It's sort of this sharp, metallic leaning, clean, green, very bright, lavender, herbal, sort of musky sort of smell. Very sharp, clean, put together, classic masculine. Maybe has like sort of like dihydromercenol thing going on. Yeah, it smells like a sharp metallic fougere, but this is, I've smelled some in that category. Chanel Platinum Egoiste, MDCI La Barbière de Tanger, I think, is one. Metro Parfumerie at Gantier Garrigue is another one. This, I think I would put them, I would put this above all of them. And I've only just smelled this. There's something in the base, maybe it's oak moss or something like that. Yeah, I have to give this about a 9. Gucci Nobile. Gucci, bring it back, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing, Gucci? All right, next up is another one that Rich Mitch is apparently wearing all the time nowadays. This is Tuscany Per Uomo. Ever heard of this? Let's see what this is about. No? Okay. Tuscany Per Uomo. I remember watching a video recently of his where he said this is like a really Italian thing, but apparently the brand is American. I want to say this is an Aramis? An Aramis fragrance? I could be wrong. Ooh, okay. Wait a minute. Smoky lemon? Like a big lemon fragrance. Very citrusy, very fresh. Yeah, a lot of citruses, lots of citruses. It's very bright. Very, very bright. It smells yellow to me, if that makes sense. But there's something underneath that's sort of like green in a bitter, icy cold sort of way. I don't know what that might be. It might be lavender, it might be galbanum, it might be something like that. So, yeah, so basically I'm just getting citruses with this green undertone and maybe some lavender, maybe some geranium. It does have sort of maybe like a floral edge. Really beautiful. I could see just spraying, 25 sprays of this on in the summertime, and just, that's all you need. It kind of smells like a lemon popsicle, I'm not gonna lie. It is really, really good though. I do enjoy this quite a bit. Like it's a freshie, but it's unique. So yeah, I'm gonna give this like a 7.75. I really enjoy this. Tuscany Per Uomo. All right, next up is vintage Loewe Pour Homme. Juice color is interesting. It's very like a dark yellow. So I think Loewe Pour Homme is a fougere, if I remember correctly. I've never smelled it, but it's always sort of been in like the circle of things I'm interested in. I've no doubt the modern version is reformulated. If it is a fougere, it probably has oak moss and all that sort of thing. So let's try vintage Loewe Pour Homme. I really don't know what to expect other than probably going to be classically masculine leaning. Okay, first off, big patchouli. I really get a lot of patchouli. But kind of reminds me of something along the lines of like Chanel Pour Monsieur, Dior Eau Sauvage, that sort of area. Big lavender, big oak moss. Definitely a fougere. Citrusy, kind of similar to one I've smelled already. Maybe Paco Rabanne Pour Homme a little bit. Kind of also vaguely reminds me of Nikolai New York Intense. Maybe there's like a sandalwoody thing going on in here. Slightly bitter. Wouldn't be surprised if there's Petitgran or something. Lemon verbena, maybe something like that. It's not my favorite, I have to be honest. I'm going to have to give this like a 7, but definitely classic masculine leaning. Again, this is probably better than 95% of things sold at designer counters nowadays. So, at least for my tastes. So, I'll give Loewe Pour Homme about a 7. All right, moving on. This sample is probably really hard to get a hold of. This is Tom Ford Patchouli Absolute. Patchouli Absolute, I've heard him talk about it. I love patchouli. I own many patchouli fragrances, and not just any patchouli fragrances, like in-your-face patchouli fragrances, like Perfumum Roma Patchouli and Serge Luton's Borneo 1834, also Frederic Malle Monsieur. So patchouli and I, we have a good relationship. So I'm interested to see what Tom Ford does with this. I believe this is discontinued from Tom Ford. I also believe bottles of this stuff go for outrageous money. So let's see. I mean, nothing even needs to be said, right? I mean, right off the bat, this is beautiful. Yeah, okay, so it's an unapologetic patchouli, which is really what a fragrance called Patchouli Absolute needs to be. If this was anything other than this, I would be disappointed. It's a beautiful, slightly sweetened, ambery patchouli. Got a slight chocolatey edge. It's reminding me of Frederic Malle Monsieur a little bit in the way that it has that sort of very textured, almost dry patchouli. Yeah, it's scratchy slightly. Got that chocolatey edge. It's musky. It's dank. It's earthy. It's slightly green. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this about a 9. Really good. Really, really good. But you have to love patchouli. But you would probably assume that because patchouli's in the name of the fucking perfume. All right, next up is another designer classic. At least that's my understanding. This is Vintage Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme. So my experience with Dolce & Gabbana is, the modern stuff. So Dolce & Gabbana The One and Light Blue and all that sort of stuff. I can confidently say that I'm completely over that sort of stuff at this point. So I'm interested to see what Dolce & Gabbana Pour Homme is. If I know Rich Mitch's taste so far, this is probably going to be a fougere. This is probably going to be very classic leaning. So let's just take a smell here. Whoa. Wait. This is way different. This is way different. I just completely threw the test strip across the room. It has a bizarre citrusy freshness up top. Very bizarre smelling. Not bizarre in a bad way. Bizarre in like a unique, amazing way, if that makes sense. It's extremely zingy and tart and effervescent. It's very, very complex. I'm having a hard time breaking this down. Basically what I'm getting is I'm getting this unique, citrusy, zingy, effervescent sort of smell up top. And then I get like some lavender, maybe some florals, something like, I don't know, like neroli, something like that. Maybe just a touch marine leaning, maybe a touch. But I have to say, very unique smelling. I've never smelled anything like this before. Certainly wouldn't expect the modern version to smell like this. I imagine this came out quite a long time ago, so reformulations had to have happened. But whatever's going on the top of this fragrance, I've never really encountered exactly like this. Very impressed with this. I'm gonna have to give this at least an 8.5. I might even seek out a bottle of this because I don't actually own a Dolce & Gabbana. So owning the vintage would be appropriate, you know what I mean? All right, next up is a fragrance that I have really wanted to smell for a very long time. And this is Van Cleef and Arpels Czar. And surely, because this is coming from Rich Mitch's collection, hand decanted himself, this is definitely a vintage bottle of Czar as well. So, let's see. Vintage Czar, huh? Let's see what this has to say for itself. I've heard people talk about this before. Apparently it's this green, masculine sort of thing. Maybe like a big oak moss. I've sort of really saturated this strip. It's going to take a while to dry down, but yeah, okay. Yes, very of the time. I want to say this came out before Van Cleef and Arpels Pour Homme. That would mean this have to come out sometime 80s, 70s, probably 80s if I had to guess. Very green, very oak moss. Fresh though. Like a fresh green oak moss. Definitely some sort of maybe geranium fougere thing happening yet again. The oak moss or the freshness in here reminds me again of Rogue Perfumery Bon Monsieur. There's that sort of minty green, masculine freshness. It might be the geranium. It might be something else. I'm not sure. It smells remarkably similar to a fragrance that I own. I can't really put my finger on it right now, but yeah, this isn't as dense as I thought it would be. The way people talked about this, I felt as though it'd probably come across as like something like Rogue Perfumery Mousse Illumine, where it's very dense and super in your face. This is airier, this is lighter, this is more polite than I thought it would be. Really good though. Beautiful smell. Slight woodiness as well. I think it's about a 7.5. I don't know. It's a bit thinner than I thought it would be, but still really nice. All right, last but certainly not least, this is a pretty unique Creed. This is Creed Aberdeen Lavender. Never heard of this. Never seen anyone talk about this. Never even seen a picture of the bottle of this. So, yeah, no clue what to expect. Because it's a Creed, I expect very classic, like herbal lavender, in your face. Maybe I'm just completely wrong though. Let's see. Ooh, top notes might be off. I don't know. Maybe I smelled the alcohol. Maybe I didn't let it dry down. Let me not judge it off that first little initial sampling there. Need to let the alcohol evaporate. Weird. This is a weird. This is totally different from what I expected. It's like ambery. It's like a ambery, sweeter take on lavender. It's not as herbal as I thought it would be. It's muskier. It's fresher. You know what it smells like? It kind of smells like the dry down of some fougères, but you're getting the dry down in the opening. It has this sort of lavender tonka bean, like coumarin thing, but right up front, not in the dry down. Really weird, have to say. Did not expect this. There may be some citruses in the top as well. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like lemon or like petitgrain in here. Completely different from what I thought it would be. I don't really know if I like it, to be honest. It's a little weird. Maybe this one needs skin. Maybe Creed is using only the highest quality of natural materials in this perfume, and it requires skin, of course. Maybe this is from the era of Creed that could be considered very high quality and actually worth the money. I'm gonna have to give this like a 6.5. Probably my least favorite of the bunch. And I think I'm gonna put Pavarotti on skin to see what I think of it. Okay, so Pavarotti on this hand. Okay, so it's immediately just denser. It's just denser on skin. It's more, it's like you take color by numbers. It's like 20% of it was missing before, then you like fill in all the rest with your skin. That's kind of how I imagine this. It's the patchouli really comes out on this on my skin even in the opening. There's again this nondescript, very hard to identify appley sort of nuance. Comes across as leathery as well, like leathery woody in a not a sandalwoody way, maybe like a cedarwood way. I don't know. Very, very strange fragrance. I do like it. I think it's incredibly unique. Never smelled anything quite like it. So yeah, Pavarotti, interesting fragrance. All these fragrances really interesting. Again, I have to thank Rich Mitch. This is only part 1 of the series, by the way, guys. I have 19 more samples. This is gonna be a 3-part series where Rich Mitch and I have already discussed it. We've planned it out. So thank you again to Rich Mitch for sending me all these samples. Really have enjoyed a lot of them. Gucci Nobile, I think, was the highlight of the entire video. And also Aberdeen Lavender. I'm just interested in it. I might try it on skin a little bit later. So thank you guys so much for watching. This series will continue. Part 2 will probably be sometime next week. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to Rich Mitch. Also subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed it. Hit the like button. And I'll see you guys in the next video.